¿Qué pasa? ¿Cómo está mi gente? I am Zay Zay, and welcome to another banging interview. Right now, I am over the moon because I get to sit with a wonderful talent, right? So some of you may not know her name, but I guarantee you, most of you have definitely seen this gorgeous face, right? Yeah, right there. I get you. I got you. I'm sitting with Livia Trevino. Hi.
Hi, Zay Zay.
Oh my goodness, it is so wonderful to finally meet you in person.
Oh, it's lovely to meet you.
Livia and I had a great conversation on the phone the other day. It included such wonderful things as where you're from, which we're definitely going to discuss with the world, and also, you know, personal things. You know, I had a thing, and I asked her, "Hey, how do you get rid of a thing?" And you know, she helped me out. I appreciate that.
I know these things.
You know a couple of things. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks
Yeah?
so much for having me here today.
Come on, always. So you're a Texas native.
I am a
right?
Texas native. I'm from San Antonio.
Tell me what it was like for you growing up. We got one from San Antonio. Tell me what it was like for you growing up in San Antonio.
You know, it was just like a typical childhood. It was just a really great city to grow up in, and I had a very normal childhood. You know, I went to school there. I went to grade school, high school, and I graduated from Trinity University,
Okay.
which had a great drama program at the time under Paul Baker. So, you know, it was just a great city to grow up in. I had a big family, so it was a lot of fun.
As most of us do.
Yeah,
As us Latinos do.
My family was so big that when we got together at Thanksgiving, you know, the houses back then were a little smaller. So we were so big, they would set up the table for Thanksgiving dinner
Okay.
at my Aunt Lottie's house. And
Shout out to Aunt Lottie.
yes, and so it would be a long table, but if you were at one end of the table and you wanted something from the other end and they couldn't pass it, you had to walk out the front door, run around the house, and come in the back. And it's one of my happiest memories.
Oh my gosh, that is absolutely amazing. All right, but as a budding star, let's say, growing up in San Antonio,
Right.
what was that like? I
Well,
mean, I can
I-
imagine it comes with challenges, right?
Right. Well, I danced. I started taking dance classes when I was 8, and then when I was in high school, I was part of Antonian's drama club. I went to Ursuline Academy,
Okay.
and so Antonian had a drama club, and I was part of that drama club for all 4 years that I was in high school, and we did Montage 70 and Celebration and The Odd Couple and Spoon River Anthology. So it was a great time, and it was a great group of people who I'm still friends with today. And then from there, I went to Trinity University, and so that's how the trajectory of, you know, dancing and acting played out.
So it's very interesting. So you were still able to, even as a young lady, able to start some sort of career, not necessarily having to be in New York or Los Angeles or Chicago or any of these kind of places. So I guess I say that because a lot of times burgeoning artists or young people feel that they need to immediately go to one of these major cities in order to start their craft.
Well, I don't know if that was so true back then. But I think definitely now you should start your career in your own backyard.
Okay.
You know, you
yes.
should try to, you know, if there's a radio station you can get a part-time job at. If there's a television station you can get a part-time job at. If there's
Right.
theaters, community theater, professional theater, you know, try to work there. Even if it's as an usher. I mean, just being around it, you learn a lot. And I know for San Antonio, there's some great theater there.
Yeah.
Because some people that I went to school with at Trinity are big-time directors there now.
Okay.
Tim Hedgepath.
Oh, shouts
So,
out.
yeah, shout out to Tim Hedgepath. And I know he directs a lot in San Antonio. And I know that the Playhouse just went union, so that's fantastic. So if you can find those places to work, that will help your career. And then if you do move to the bigger markets, you'll already have something under your belt.
Right. I have a friend who told me a few years back, he said, you never know where you'll find fulfillment.
Exactly.
Right? So you could be in a situation as someone who, I want to be on TV so bad, or I want to be on Broadway so bad, or I
Yeah.
want to be, I full-heartedly agree with Livia. Start in your own backyard.
Right.
You might be completely fulfilled doing this in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Exactly.
Never
exactly.
having gone to New York City once. You know?
Exactly.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Do you remember your first performance?
Well, I do. It was in.
Tell me about it, girl. Tell me about it.
It was in kindergarten.
In kindergarten.
In kindergarten.
Okay. All right.
And I was the middle angel, I think, of 5 angels. And we sang "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." And my mother made me a beautiful white, outfit and the wings with gold on them.
Okay.
And we sang that song, which is really funny because I'm not a particularly great singer. But I must have been in kindergarten.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's take that all the way from "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" to your current situation. I mean, it's amazing. If you guys don't know yet, because I didn't talk about it at the top, because she stands on her own and she doesn't necessarily need Will or Grace, but you can currently see Livia on Will and Grace for the final season.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's so sad.
Does it feel sad?
Well, for me, it was sad because,
Okay.
I came in on their second season of their reboot as one of their neighbors, Mrs. Timmer.
Right.
Who Grace doesn't remember, and I have to, she asks me who I am, and I say, Sharon Tim, I've lived directly below you for 19 years. I took you to urgent care that time that spider bit your neck. And I went in for, I just auditioned, and it was for 2 lines, and it ended up being 6 episodes.
There you go.
So, yeah, I was kind of sad when they said they were ending, but I kind of understand. I mean, I think that they probably want to go on and do other projects. And,
Sure, I can I can see that, and we won't get into it, but there's all sorts of other things out there in newspapers and tabloids and stuff like that. Just understand that when there is a company that comes together to create great television or great storytelling in any way. It's a family. It truly is, right? Brothers and sisters, we fight sometimes, but we still love each other,
yeah,
right? So
yeah, I don't know anything about some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can tell you that for me, it was a dream come true to work on a show like that, because up until then I had small roles and hadn't really recurred in them. So this was my first big recurring role. And like I said, I auditioned with 2 lines,
Right.
and I got to set, and people were laughing and they thought I was funny. Right after the table read, Sean Hayes pulled me aside and said, Livia, you're really funny. And I was like, oh my God, that means so much, And then we went, sitcoms rehearse a week at a time.
Okay.
So we were there doing a run through for network, and Max Munchnick, who is one of the producers, it's Max Munchnick and David Cohen, just in a break said, Livia, you're doing a fantastic job. And of course I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool that he said that. And it was just like a really wonderful experience. And it was the first time that I got to do a multi-camera comedy in front of a live audience.
Okay.
I had done them, but I had always pre-shot my episodes. So this particular episode, I actually got to do it in front of an audience and have ever since. And that was an amazing experience. And the laughs were huge. And,
Of course, because you were there, girl, the laughs always going to be huge.
And so at the end, of that episode, and we finished shooting and everything, Max said, we're going to have you back. So it was really a magical evening, and just one of the best experiences of my life. So
now you've been a lot of places, you've seen a lot of things, right? You've done everything from Big Bang to Broadway, right? You've done film. Are there any specific challenges to one more so than the other? Like, I don't want to ask you something like, oh, what do you prefer, film or television? But are there any specific challenges? Like, not everyone who can do a film can go and do Broadway.
Yeah,
right?
Just to correct, I have not done Broadway, but I want to do Broadway if anybody's out there listening.
Just to correct, my research was wrong, and that's okay.
No, I've done a lot of theater. I just haven't done The Great White Way.
All right.
But I want to.
We'll take you over there. I
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
cousin, Kiko. He
I'll
over
take
on
it.
46th
I'll take
Street.
it.
We can make something happen.
I'll take it. But I have done a lot of theater.
Right.
And yeah, theater is, they're two different animals, you know, theater, film, and TV. I definitely think that multicam comedy, sitcoms, lend itself a little bit more to theater.
That
So
makes
you can
sense.
be a
Yep.
little bit bigger.
Yep.
And I think it definitely, I struggled with, trying to know the difference between the two and adjusting to it.
Okay.
But I mean, I just worked at it and watched and observed and took class and, just tried to get better at each thing. I forget who said this once, but they said, TV is a producer's medium, film is a director's medium, and theater is an actor's medium. And it's because, TV, the producer has final say on cut, how it's put together.
Right.
Film, the director has the final say. So they can take something you did and maybe you liked one take, but they liked the other, so they'll take that.
Right.
But theater, you're the one that's, out there live, making your choices moment to moment.
Right.
So, and all of them, I mean, I don't know that I have a favorite. I do like doing comedy in front of an audience. I do love that. I mean, there's nothing like hearing a crowd of people laugh. And when you're sharing that experience, that we know that this makes everyone laugh because we recognize that situation or that comment or, whatever.
Oh my gosh, theater, comedy is definitely your forte, girl. It is definitely your forte. When dealing with, I mean, you've again done a lot of things and been in a lot of, I mean, your IMDb reads like a virtual guide to what has been created in visual media, right?
I've been
it's
very,
amazing.
very lucky to have a lot of small parts in really big shows.
But it's great. So
One of my
oh,
favorites was The Big Bang Theory. That was my first multicam that I did.
okay.
And it was special because it was a really good show. It was really popular. I was in the second season. And in fact, I think it's going to be on sometime this week, that episode. I think. I just happened to remember that.
Okay.
But what was so cool about it was I met my friend Elena Campbell Martinez.
Okay.
And Elena Campbell Martinez is in the show called Vida.
Vida.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so she and I worked on that show. We both were at the audition together. We both went in for the audition together because it was two different parts, but it was in the same scene and we had lines with each other. And I don't speak Spanish very well, and it was in Spanish, so she helped me with my Spanish. And we both booked the role, which we didn't know until that day. But come to find out, during that week of working on the show, we found out she is also from San Antonio.
Oh my goodness.
So that is such a cool, that show will always have its place in my heart. Just because it was a great show and I had a lot of fun working on it, but because I have, my friend Elena, my
So
girlfriend,
cool. Oh my
she's
God.
just great.
Seems like San Antonio can be a little bit of a hotbed when it comes to talent.
There's so many amazing Texas actresses out here. It's really amazing.
Oh my.
So, and then, she and her husband and me and my husband, we all went to the taping because we pre-shot our scene, and that we were both able to have our first bow at a multicam comedy together. So it was really cool.
And I mean, think about it. One of the biggest stages on the planet, The Big Bang Theory. I mean,
Yeah,
come on,
I know.
massive-
And which another
massive
one which
show.
has come to an end, unfortunately.
Right,
but
right. Well, it happened. It's okay.
Again, it was
It's
it was
okay.
time. Yeah.
But now there's new things on the horizon for
Oh
you
my
as
gosh,
well,
so
right?
many new things. I try to watch everything. I can't keep up with it.
So, okay. So, in talking about how many Latina actresses there are here in Texas, here in
LA?
LA. Thank you very much. First day with the new teeth. There's a lot of Latina actresses here in LA, a lot from Texas, and I'm sure other places where we are. What would you say would be the biggest challenges for a Latina actress here in Los Angeles in trying to get those roles? And I mean, there's a lot of talk about how how little representation we have in popular media, right?
Yeah,
So do you find that it's difficult or more difficult to find roles?
I think it's getting better.
Okay.
I think with shows like Vida and shows like One Day at a Time, which
Right.
is going to be on Pop. I'll put a plug in for both. And Vida's on Stars. I think it's on Stars. Yeah,
Let's just say it's
on Stars.
the channel
It's
near
on
you.
cable.
Yeah.
And I know that One Day at a Time is going to Pop. So and it's a wonderful series. But yeah, I think it is still a challenge. I mean, 2 out of how many.
Yeah.
But and I know I used to go into the casting office, and very sheepishly they would say, "Can you do it with an accent?" Or
Right.
and I could tell they didn't like saying that to me, and that's gotten better, I think. I don't
Okay.
get asked that very much anymore.
Okay, that's good.
I think it's a struggle, but I
Sure.
think we're working on it,
Sure.
and I
Sure.
think by knowing it, I think diversity is a big thing right now, and I think they're trying.
Since you've been on so many shows and have been privy to so many sets and have met so many people on those sets, are you noticing at all that maybe diversity is also changing when it comes to even off-camera work?
Yeah, yeah.
The reason I ask is because Chris Rock famously wrote an op-ed once, and I think it was for the New York Times or something like that, where he was discussing how underrepresented we are in this city, in the industry, compared to how represented we are in the population of the city, right? So, for instance, okay, if you don't want to put a bunch of Latinos or a bunch of Black people on camera, fine. But why can't we do audio? Why can't we, graphics? Why can't we be directors? Why can't we, you know what I mean? Like that kind of
Absolutely.
thing. So are you seeing that the behind the scenes is getting a little
I
better?
actually am. I actually am seeing. I've worked with more women women directors.
Nice.
I've seen more women camera operators and other backstage positions
Yeah.
have been women, and I think it's great.
getting better.
I
Love
just did an episode of a show called Broke.
Yes, we
Which,
gotta talk about
yes,
Vogue. Let's talk about
I can't talk too much about it, but
Oh,
one
Livia.
of the oh, Zay Zay.
Okay, fine.
One of the things that I noticed, though, was that a lot of Latinos working on the show. Some of the cast is Latino, and a lot of women in the backstage areas. So that was really neat to see that. And another great show. I hope you watch it. It's really funny. And I'm excited to see it. I can't wait to see it when it comes out. You can view a clip right now, I think, on online. Yeah,
Online?
just Google it.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Livia, our time is up, if you could believe that. This time went by
Aw.
so quickly. Guys, make sure to find everything. I mean, it's going to be a lot, right? So do your research. Go to IMDb and watch everything Livia's been in. You will not be disappointed. Right now, you can catch her on Will and Grace, and upcoming on Jaime Camille's new series called Broke. So make sure to
Right.
watch that too. I am Zay Zay. This is Livia. We're going to go get some pizza, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Oh, Zay Zay.
Oh, Livia.